Wednesday morning, September 21st. The second my conscious mind entered the world of the living, footsteps approached my sleeping figure. Good morning. Wakey wakey, breakfast is ready and your clothes have been ironed. Get them both while they're still warm. We have an iron? Okay, shower, check. Clothes, check. Breakfast, check. We've still got a bit of time left. Oh, I should get started on the pre-preparation for dinner. And off she goes. Now that Sarah's stalkers have been dealt with, she's returned to her usual chipper self. If anything, she's now more lively than ever. Hey, can you turn the TV up? Forget lively. Sarah was never this happy in our old home. Not that I can fault her for being happy. The only downright odd behavior she's displayed since last night is her newfound fascination with the news. She watched it on and off last night. Today she's had it blaring since the moment I woke up. Her obsession isn't at all bad for me, so I have no plans to stop her. On the contrary, I've already begun to make use of it. While I can't approach the witness or question high school kids, Sarah is free to do both. Better yet, she seems to know the girl and was thus able to tell me all about her. You want to know more about the witness? I guess it can't be helped. I'll impart upon you a portion of my great knowledge. First off, her name is Lucia K. She's 1 year younger than us, and she's in the grade below me at school. Lucia doesn't really have any friends. I don't think many people even knew her name until yesterday. Let's see, what else? Lucia isn't very interesting. Above average grades, average looks, below average physical fitness. But get this, her family is well off, but they don't seem to get along. They're actually really ashamed of Lucia. Because of that, they won't let her have any fun. She can't go to birthday parties, she doesn't have a computer, she lives a really boring life. She waits in her room alone, wishing for someone to save her from her fate. Always playing the hopeful loner, seeking companionship, praying for the freedom that others take for granted. Or at least that's Sarah's interpretation of Lucia's situation. Regardless, it does fit my impression of the girl, and Lucia seems nice enough. She doesn't sound like the type to brag to her friends about what really happened, or to hand her savior over to the police. All that's left now is to have Sarah confirm a few of my suspicions, and my mind will be completely at ease. Saying our usual goodbyes, Sarah left the house with a skip in her step and enough cheer for both of us. Whether or not my morning will stay so cheerful, however, is yet to be seen. As happy as I am that Sarah is now shining brighter than ever, the collateral damage won't be too happy to see me. Though Marcus's injuries weren't life-threatening, his ego has been severely bruised, and he won't be anywhere near as intimidating. As a result, I'll be taking the lead today, expected to commit the violent acts I normally winced upon seeing. I left a short while after Sarah, taking with me Marcus's knife. While I don't really want to take over as the lead collector, the alternative is far less appealing. Either the collections get done, or I wind up in an underground MMA ring. No matter how much Andrei has prepared me, that's still a fate I want to avoid at all costs. Come to think of it, I seem to be shifting jobs rather rapidly lately. Without realizing it, I was coerced into being an underground MMA fighter, then an assistant debt collector, and now a lead debt collector, all in quick succession. Hell, chances are it will soon change again. There's no way my position as a lead debt collector will last very long. But whatever the future holds, all that matters for the time being is that I survive the next 3 hours of my life. My first day as a lead debt collector, and hopefully my last. Waiting in front of our first stop was Marcus, who'd shaped up considerably since I last saw him. Unfortunately, his confidence and attitude appeared to be among the last stages of his recovery. Morning, killer. Well, someone's in a good mood today. What right does he have to call me that anyway? He killed more people on our first collection together than I have total. Not that that's really a discussion I want to have. Why so quiet, killer? Don't like your new name? It's far better than your old one. What kind of stupid name is Suo, anyway? Oi, it's not like I gotta pick it, okay? Our mother named Sarah, and our father decided that twins should have twin names. Apparently, my mother flat out rejected his other suggestions, leaving me with the least abnormal name he could come up with. Shut it, Bluey. Let's get to work. Or what, are you afraid to go in without me? Rather than laugh and put on his usual act, Marcus continued to stare at me amusedly. I guess he expected a little more out of his forced recruit. I trust that you were briefed on our stops for this morning. Yeah, I remember them all. What the hell is going on out there? While Marcus was getting patched up, Andrei ran through a list of names, amounts, and addresses with me. Since having a paper trail is not an option, I need to commit them all to memory, even with my head muddled from my discouraging morning. Luckily, we only have around a dozen stops to make today. No matter how distracted I am, I should be able to pull it off. Then, what are you waiting for? Well, here goes nothing. First up is a restaurant owned and operated by a Taiwanese man, and it's not the only one on our list for today either. Are Asians compulsive gamblers, or are they just plain bad at gambling? I'm fairly new to this job, yet it seems like a lot of the stops I made have been to restaurants owned by middle-aged Asian men. What's more, I get the feeling those are the kinds of pointless questions I'll be asking myself a lot today. Marcus and I remained seated until the only other patron present finally left. As he walked out the door, I followed Marcus' usual lead-in. I made my way to the entrance and flipped the open sign around, locked the front door, and closed the shutters. Not this again. Oi, get in here. The waitress called out to the next room, summoning forth a middle-aged man with an apparent gambling problem. Don't me, take a look what you've done now. The waitress pointed at Marcus and I. I'll handle this. The hell you will. Every time this happens, you brush me aside saying you'll take care of everything, then 3 months later it's the same thing all over again. Look, I said I'd handle it, alright? I am saying that if you were capable of doing so, we wouldn't be in this situation. The couple began to argue, soon reverting to their native tongue, excluding Marcus and I from the conversation. At first I felt awkward for having lost control of the situation so quickly, but soon after that I felt amused. While I'd seen many similar exchanges between indebted parties during my admittedly short criminal career, never had Marcus and I been so blatantly ignored. Swapping languages is a pretty obvious yet effective tactic. They could be plotting to kill the two of us right now, and I'd be none the wiser. And while I doubt that's what they're arguing about, it sure would be nice to know what they're saying. Oh well. If we can't glean any useful information for them, we may as well get to work. Hey, eyes this way, you bastards. Look, you two can argue all you want once we leave, but the only way that's going to happen is if you pay off your debt here and now, understood? The restaurant's owner didn't say a word. He simply disappeared in the next room with one assumed goal. Damn, that was easier than I thought. Maybe I'd make a good lead collector after all. No intimidation, no knife-waving, no blatant threats. Just a logical statement telling them how to get rid of us. No, that's just naive. This is going way too smoothly. If he had the money, wouldn't he have just paid up instead of making us hound him? Something's wrong here. Alright, bastards, you want me? Come and get me. Just as that thought crossed my mind, the restaurant owner burst back into the room, shotgun in hand. Shit, I knew this was going too well. Honey, what are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? I told you I'd handle this. Wait, sleazebags, hand over what you've collected today and get out of here. Uh-oh. We haven't collected anything yet. You're our first stop. Idiot, don't tell him that. No money, huh? Well now, isn't that a problem? Waving his gun around, the man smirked as he taunted us. We were at an obvious disadvantage, and no amount of bravado would change that. I wonder, what do you people usually do to those who can't pay, Maybe I should cut off your hands like the thieves you are. While I looked around the restaurant trying to find an escape, Marcus clenched his fists. Don't get cocky, asshole. Marcus, stop. The second Marcus charged forward, our target fired, blowing Marcus's stomach wide open without hesitation. Marcus's body hit the floor, unmoving, and an incredibly familiar sight of pooling blood filled my eyes. Hey, Marcus. I tried calling out to Marcus, but I received no response. I moved closer, placing my hand on his shoulder and weakly pushing for a response. Marcus, can you hear me? Back up, kid. If you don't want to end up like your friend, you'll do as I say. The owner crept forward, gaining a closer look at his work. I kept my eyes on Marcus, discreetly keeping track of his shooter's vicinity as the man closed in on his victim. Please, Marcus, speak to me. I said back up. Feigning an emotional goodbye, I drew the shotgun older man closer, careful not to let him catch me glancing at him. The moment he was within striking distance, I abused the window of opportunity Marcus's sudden death had granted me, slashing his shooter's throat immediately. He dropped his shotgun, unable to hold both it and his throat at the same time, and I moved in to finish the job. Sparing no time for my fallen partner, I coerced the waitress at gunpoint to take me to their safe out back. Cash in hand, I fled the scene, moving to my next mark for the day without delay. I moved from target to target, completing the day's work with ease, and before I knew it, I had completed my last stop for the day. But even then, after completing a day full of solo ventures, I felt neither happy nor relieved. I continued working not because the work needed to be done or because I felt obliged to finish what I started, but because I simply didn't know what else to do. Markus is dead. He was shot right in front of me. I was right there beside him and I couldn't do a thing to help him. As the lead collector, I should have thought things through. I shouldn't have let us get into that situation to begin with. But the most worrying part is, it could have just as easily been me. While I tried to convince myself otherwise, I was in just as much danger as he was. I could have died then and there, or at the next stop, or even in this very seat. The waitress could have poisoned my food, for all I know. The chef could be loading his shotgun. I've been flirting with death this whole time, high on the thrill of getting paid to intimidate random strangers, never truly realizing how messed up this kind of life is. If I keep this up, I really might die. Walking through the dark corridor, Andrei nervously glanced behind, cautious of where he was being led. Move it. Yes, sir. Andrei's guide continued to urge him forward, allowing no chance of escape. Upon passing through the heavy door which awaited him, Andrei was greeted by a single man. Nice to see you, Andrei. Good evening, sir. As Andrei spoke, the presence behind his back shifted. Although both men spoke kindly, there was an unmistakable sense of malice and unease in the air. Andrei, my friend, let me cut straight to the chase. I want you to explain to me why that runt Markus has been making your collections for you. I can understand that you would want to bring Markus along with you as part of his training. That makes perfect sense to me. What I don't understand is why you'd let him take the lead and go off on his own. The presence behind Andrei shifted once more, this time inching closer. I wanted to make sure he had what it takes. Throw him in head first, you know? Is that right? Well, obviously he didn't have what it takes. Otherwise, he'd still be alive, wouldn't he? What? What are you talking about? I saw him just... He was shot dead this morning, conducting a collection. No, that's impossible. He is. Lucky for you, his partner wasn't hurt in the process. His partner? Wait, you're telling me that Markus is dead, but that other brat survived? Just how is that lucky? If Markus really is dead, then it's definitely his partner's fault. Oh? Just yesterday, that incompetent brat left Markus alone to go on some bullshit vigilante trip. Now, when he was supposed to be taking the lead, Markus winds up dead? Nobody can do this job alone, let alone with an unreliable partner. Nobody can do this job alone, huh? What's so funny? You say that nobody can do it alone, yet this incompetent brat managed to do just that. Instead of making excuses or crying over his partner, he avenged his death and completed the day's work. Andrei stared at his boss in disbelief, unable to swallow what he was hearing. You really are defending him? I seek out talent. This boy has it. Markus did not. You son of a... Andrei attempted to lunge at his boss. Before he could do so much as take a step, the presence behind his back made its move. Andrei was thrown on the ground effortlessly with a blade embedded into his back before he could retaliate. Same old Andrei, huh? Sigh, twist your blade, would you? Understood. You bastard. You spout all this shit about your employees being your family, but the second we become inconvenient. Again. You never did understand, did you, Andrei? You are not my family. Markus was not my family. My family are those who understand loyalty and discretion. Loyalty, huh? Like you know the meaning of the word. You just can't help yourself, can you? Sigh, we're done talking. Once again returning home early, mostly because I had nothing to do with my free time, I went through the usual motions of my return. I received a warm welcome from my sister, showered, hid my more suspicious purchases, and finally settled in for the story of her day. Usually I just sit and nod as Sarah told me about her friends at school, what subjects she had, what she learned, none of which interested me in the least. Today, however, Sarah had been playing detective, and for once, Brother Dearest is all ears. Oh, I talked to Lucia today. You know what she said? My dear sister, half the time I don't even know what you are saying. Wait, why does that name actually sound familiar? Lucia, is she a friend of yours? You don't remember? She's the girl from the news, you know? The one saved by the vigilante? Right, I remember now. Or rather, how could I forget? Her name slipped my mind after what happened today, but the girl herself won't soon be forgotten. Anyway, I asked her about what happened near our school yesterday, but apparently one of the attackers knocked her out, so she doesn't remember much. All she could really confirm was that the vigilante rescued her and disappeared without a trace. Knocked out, huh? Well, that's one way to get people to stop asking questions. Sarah's giving this girl too little credit. But is that it? After a full day of interrogation, surely Sarah got more out of her than that. Does she know anything about the police investigation? I know it's only been a day, but have they made any progress? I got your attention after all. Apparently the vigilante didn't leave a trace. No murder weapon, no fingerprints, no sign of forced entry. He just vanished. Really? I mean, I did take my weapon with me, and I didn't need to break in, but no fingerprints? I didn't wear gloves, and I'm sure I touched at least the floor during my scuffle with the second attacker. Did Lucia clean up after I left? Or do I just have a knack for crime? Whatever the case, I'm not behind bars, so I guess I couldn't have done too badly. Anyway, enough about that. How was your day? You're back again early today. Did you change shifts or something? Ah, right. As far as Sarah knows, I'm still working for Mr. Mudo, pulling long, physically demanding shifts at that damn warehouse. I guess things would be easier if I told Sarah that my hours had changed. At least then I'd have more freedom to come and go as I please. Let's try it. Do something perverted. Well, that's one way to derail a conversation. La-di-da. What the hell are you doing? It's awfully hot in here, isn't it? Not even remotely. Come on, join me. Huh? Wait a second, what are you... No, stop that, I don't want to... There, much better. You... pervert. Honestly, can't you ever just be straight with me? If something happened at work and you don't want to talk about it, just say so. If only that were that simple. But the stuff I don't want to talk about is nothing like what she's expecting. Rather than keeping quiet out of embarrassment or awkwardness, I'm doing so to stop Sarah from being an accessory, and to not relive such a terrible event. Even so, I do owe her some kind of explanation, and my work hours will probably continue to shift in the future. I'd better prepare Sarah for what's yet to come. Well, I was going to wait until the change was finalized before telling you, but I changed positions at work. Struggling to avoid my sister's prying gaze, I attempted to phrase my excuse that it wasn't technically a lie. I did change positions after all, just not at the same workplace. A change in position? You mean, like a promotion? She bought it. Yeah, something like that. That's great. It's about time they recognize how hard you work. Just you watch. Before long, you'll have a cushy office job where you choose your own hours. Yeah, I wish. I may have spent the better half of today just killing time, but the day I get paid to do so is still a long way off. Still, I do prefer Sarah's optimism to her skepticism. I'll take overly enthusiastic and unrealistic over gloomy and suspicious any day. As the night progressed, I continued to string my sister along, remaining as vague as I could. I don't want her to get too used to the idea that I'll be back early. At the way things are going, it's entirely possible that I'll end up working different hours. After all, while I might not have been the sharpest tool in the shed back in high school, I do understand my new role in the world and the path that's leading me down. In a very short amount of time, I've gone from a high school student to a killer. I've watched people die. I watched my partner die. I've killed. And one of these days, the one to die might be yours truly. So until my life regains some sense of stability, I can't afford to tell Sarah the truth or to get her hopes up. All I can do for her now is to continue providing and to stay alive. New chapter? Or not? The next day. Thursday morning, September 22nd. As I awoke at an unusually early hour, I found myself comfortably sprawled out on our single bed. With Sarah notably absent from my side, I had the entire bed to myself, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Just as my lengthy hospital stay and financial debt had caused me to forget the taste of real food, so too had our living arrangements denied me such comfort. Having my own bed, a seemingly normal thing for a first-world teenager, now felt like a dream come true, one that would last for only a single morning. But as that thought crossed my mind, so did a pertinent question. Where is Sarah? Forcing myself to leave the comfort and warmth of my bed, I staggered down the hallway, barely able to remain upright. The hallway was still dark, telling me that I had woken up far too early for my own good, and off to the side I could hear sounds of life from one other human being. Light and faint murmurs were emanating from the living room. As I approached the source of both, I found... What the hell? The room is pitch black apart from the light coming off the television. Why on earth is Sarah up this early? For that matter, why am I up this early? Not that it matters for me. It's not like I have to wake up early given my new career, but as for Sarah... Morning, butterfly. I sat down next to Sarah, who was wrapped up in a blanket, cocoon style. Butterfly? Oh, come on. It isn't that hard to figure out. Sarah must really be tired. Forget it. Anyway, what has you so captivated? The sun is barely even up yet. Is it really worth getting up so early? She nods. Sarah bobbed her head as she grunted, gesturing towards the TV. See for yourself, huh? And yet he didn't threaten you at all? Aren't you scared that he'll come back for you? Not at all. I mean, he did tell me not to talk to the police, but he never threatened me. That sounds like a threat to me. Are you sure you didn't get a good look at his face? It wasn't a threat. I should have known you wouldn't understand. You told me you people would try to turn this into a witch hunt. You people? Do you mean reporters or law-abiding citizens? That's not what I meant. I mean, that's not what he meant. He would never... I am so screwed. Even if she's just making things up, Lucia obviously can't be trusted to keep a secret. I thought I could leave her alone. I thought I could trust her to keep her mouth shut after what I did for her. But if this is how it's going to be, then I'll have to... kill her? It's a little worrying that my mind jumps straight to that conclusion. But I can't say it's wrong. That girl needs to be silenced, one way or another. I don't want to hurt her. I really don't want to hurt a young girl whose only crime was being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But at the very least, I need to talk to her. I guess that's it for the time being. Still, a few hours before school, what am I supposed to do now? You could start by getting dressed. Dressed? Huh? What a strange sister I have. As the hours slowly went by, the rest of our morning continued like usual. Sarah showered, got dressed, made breakfast, and inevitably left for school. I followed much the same routine, gleefully filling my stomach and lazing about as I wondered what kind of misery my work would bring. But as I witnessed the sight of a uniform-clad schoolgirl leaving the house, I recalled that I had another mission for the day, dealing with Lucia K. I grabbed one of my new knives, purchased after my life-changing experience yesterday, and headed for the door. Even if I don't want to hurt Lucia, I realize that I may have no other option. Unfair though it may be, she has become a threat to my new life, and I can't afford to have her lead the police to me. Between the well-being of my sister and I, and the life of an unfortunate victim. The decision is rather suo Tesla. Just as I was about to leave the house, an unfamiliar man approached my front door. He wore a suit and openly carried a pistol at his hip, immediately giving me the impression that he was someone I didn't want to meet. Who are you? You'll find that out soon enough. For the time being, please come with me. You won't be performing any collections today.